Hello. Whoop, 3 seconds in. Um, Hi, my name's Kelly, and welcome to the Dreamery Videocast. If you are new here, welcome. If you are a returning viewer, hi, did you miss me? Um, Today is March 11th, 2013, and this is Videocast number 17. So, yes, I did skip last week completely, and I'll talk more about that later. Maybe you can guess what happened. So it's been a very interesting 2 weeks, and I'm recording this at 2:45 in the morning, so I am going to try to keep my voice down a bit. And I know that I always sound a little quiet anyway to begin with, so if I sound even more quiet today, I'm sorry. I apologize in advance. So where should we start off? Oh, I have notes. I can just talk with my notes. Oh, where is that? I forgot something. It's over in another part of the room. BRB. Okay, sorry about that. Oh, do you like my fancy brews that I got? Um, Sheila, if you're watching, I hope that you never bruise a patient like this when you're trying to draw blood or insert an IV. This was the most ridiculous place on my arm to even put an IV in the first place. Absolutely stupid. Okay, anyway, let's see. Da, 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 da. Let's see. Oh, speaking of Sheila and Wendy, there is a dishcloth knit along going on in their Ravelry group, which is Knit 1 Heart 2. So if you like knitting dishcloths, or if you just completed a huge project and you're like, I don't know what to do next, but I don't want to knit another blanket or cardigan, knit a dishcloth. Good times. Kim from Sock Bunny Knit and Fit is doing a knit along, and it is anything to do with science fiction. So go join. I think her group is called, hold on, I'll check in just a second. Yes, Sock Bunny Knit and Fit Podcast is her group on Ravelry. So go join that. Go watch her podcast. Kim's a good time. So she's doing a sci-fi knit along. She's very into the Doctor Who. And I've been planning to knit something sci-fi, and I haven't gotten around to it. But for anybody who participates in her sci-fi knit along, she's going to have a random drawing at the end of March, end of April. I don't remember. I don't recall. But I'm donating a skein of yarn. You can just pick any skein that's available in my shop for yourself, and I'll mail it to you if you are the winner. But you've got to knit something sci-fi related. And then, wait, okay. And then Amy and Darren for the Knitting in Circles podcast. For all of March, they are doing a pop culture knit along. Just knit something that has to do with pop culture. Another good time. So if you're always like, I wonder what to do, there's always some kind of fun knit along to do out there. And you get to meet interesting people that maybe you haven't met before on Ravelry or online or wherever. So it's also kind of neat to see what other people come up with, and you get new ideas. And it's March, so maybe if you're one of those people who, and I don't say those people like those people, But if you like to plan ahead, if you like to knit ahead, maybe you're going to get some great ideas for Christmas presents, and you can get a kickstart on that. 9 months to go! Yay! Oh boy. So, okay. So I talked about that. And then, what did I write? What did I write? I wrote, "Welcome, Sadie, to USA." Sadie, Blue Ruin, Yarnivore podcast, we shoot stars. Anyway, Sadie's in the United States. Welcome, Sadie. It's so nice to hear that you're already overwhelmed by all your choices in the grocery stores. It's not something that you'll ever get used to. At least I've never gotten used to it, and I've lived in the US all my life. Every time I go into a grocery store, I do 3-hour grocery store trips because I am always staring at all of the choices. Plus, I'm a label reader. I have to make sure that there's no soy in anything. So I am in there for a long time. So, welcome. Enjoy. We're happy you're here. Okay. Let's see. That's right. All right. And Sadie she just did her podcast. She just came back and she did her drawing for Snuggletopia. And one lucky person, oh heck, where did it go? And I already know who it is. I already know who they are and their name. And Sadie, if you're watching this and you didn't get my Rev PM, the yarn is still here. This is Sadie's Dirty Jeans, and it's in the Chop Tank. Chop Tank is worsted, weight, yarn, 218 yards. And it's squishy and soft, and I love it. And I will be talking more about my yarn in just a moment. Alright, so got a winner there. Okay, and then there is the Lemknit Crochet. She is still gathering donations in the memory of the loss of her friend Josh. He died from a rare disease related to histiocytosis, and so that's partly where the money is being donated to. If you watch her podcast, she goes into more detail about it. I'm sorry, I'm kind of fuzzy on the details because I have so many things like going on in my brain right now. And I'll warn you in advance, this is going to be a long one, especially because I was gone for 2 weeks and I meant to do it yesterday, and then life's getting in the way. But anyway, if you donate even $5 to the foundation that is accepting the money, and you let Lauren know that you donated money, she will enter you into a giveaway. And one of the things that she'll be giving away is the skein of yarn donated by me. This is in its glitz. You can see it is sparkling. And this is the Katniss colorway. And I know that some of you are looking at it and thinking, well, why does it have pink in it? I'm basing this off of when, and look, spoilers ahead. Anyway, this is for when she goes to the big parade where they show off who's going to be competing for each district, and she's dressed up and she's on fire and they have her wearing makeup. The pink is the makeup. They made her look completely different from how she is in real life, but I also think that it was a really nice color combination. So anyway, somebody's gonna win this yarn. It could be you. Um, and there are many ways to donate um, to help do things to add money to the pot. Um, one of the things that I am doing is knitting a turtle. I'll get to that in a minute. And also bird leg bags is she is making bags, and mine was shipped out yesterday, so I don't know exactly when I'll get it because I didn't get like a tracking number or anything. But Lauren's friend Josh drew two pictures that are very special to Lauren, and one of them is a picture of a turtle, and the turtle theme is turtle, turtle. Um, Now, I don't know exactly if that's what inspired him to draw that picture, but it's from a Dana Carvey movie. Um, that's where I hear it the most. Turtle, turtle. It's just absurd and ridiculous. I've never actually seen the movie. It was just in every single trailer that was on television. And so we walk around our house all the time doing turtle, turtle. Just as something stupid to say. We walk around our house saying a lot of stupid stuff just to amuse each other. Um, and then, dang, 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 dang. Diggity dang, dang. Oh, it slipped my mind. So, anyway, so I'll talk more about the turtle in a few. And then another picture that he drew was of a dude, let's just dancing, and it says, "I like to dance." And that's really cute too. So there was fabric made up, especially from these two pictures, I guess from Spoonflower, and Bird Leg Bags is making the bags, and I think it's $5 from each bag that she makes will be donated to the Histiocytosis Foundation. I'm sorry, I'm like all over the place. I need a sip. It's caffeine free. So what if it's 3 in the morning? This is insomnia. Um, this is how insomnia works. Um, it it doesn't matter if you don't have caffeine. It doesn't matter if you exercise daily. It doesn't matter how much you exercise. When you have insomnia, you have insomnia. Um, there are ways for me to fall asleep, but they're not necessarily recommended by professional doctors. Um, but it's the only way that I fall asleep at a certain time when I have to fall asleep. Um, and it's kind of terrible. Um, it's kind of really terrible when you're trying to be a part of the rest of the world. And I mean, hey, everybody in London is awake right now, so hey! But even if even if I got somewhere where I could theoretically catch up on sleep, I would still wind up having insomnia a week later. Um, so that's another reason why I haven't podcasted, is because it's just been very hard for me to go somewhere and then come back. I have a lot of issues. So anyway, okay, so I talked about Alright, I'm gonna talk about what do I have off the needles. I'm doing Nerd Wars, and uh, okay, last month I did Nerd Wars. I did all 5 challenges, and so I won myself a little picture called a Dwarf Nebula Award. It's just whoosh, just a big old blend of colors. I don't know. Anybody who gets all 5 of the challenges complete and scored gets a cute little picture for bragging rights. Yeah. So, um, so it is March, and they have a whole bunch of brand new ones, brand new whatchajigs challenges, and there's one for architecture. So what did I do? I knit me a house. Apparently, I'm gonna have to block this, but it's also a dishcloth. Okay, so I knit a house, and I'd say that has to do with architecture. And I actually found, okay, so this pattern is called 1900 House, and it's based on whoever made the design, they based it off of the house that they're living in. And so I was able to find a picture of an Indiana farmhouse, which has the exact same layout and structure. So I can use that as part of my Nerd Wars challenge. And I have it in this red, yellow, and blue color. And that ties into my team. That's what she said. Because if you've ever watched Community, there is sometimes a segment at the end called Troy and Abed in the Morning. And it's Troy and Abed putting on a morning talk show. And in one of the episodes at the end, it wasn't exactly a morning talk show. It was Troy and Abed, and they were dressed up as Bert and Ernie. And it was really funny, and I loved it, and it made me happy. So I knit the house, and I knit colors that are part of canon. Um, some of I like doing Nerd Wars, but some of the judges are kind of ridiculous about things. Um, and I'm having fun doing this, but I probably will not do it again in May when it starts up. It's I've got too many other things going on, and I thought, oh, this will be a good filler. But you know what? I don't need a filler right now. I have so many other things going on. Okay, so I got that done. What else did I get done? I had a victory. Now, some of you may recall that I took a class on Craftsy to learn how to use a drop spindle, and it was not going great. As a matter of fact, all of this brown yarn, I had at one point tried to spin on a bottom whorl Louette spindle, and it did not go well at all. Not at all. But then I bought a spindle from Heather of Highland Handmaids. Her husband makes spindles, and she said that he usually doesn't like to make them in the winter time in Maine, in the cold, and I can understand that. But hold up, wait a minute. But this was a top whorl, and even now you can see, oh look, she's getting somewhere. So what I did was I just transferred everything to here because I don't have bobbins or fake bobbins or whatever. But I took all of my blues and purples and greens of fiber that I get in my fat fiber box, and I spun it all up. Now, does it look perfect? No. But it looks a whole lot better than the string of cat turds I had made months ago. So I feel pretty proud of myself that I did that. So yeah, I slid all of this off of this one onto this one. So maybe I'll get back to using this some other time, but I really like the top one. It made a lot more sense somehow for me to do it on the top. And this fiber is from Heather. It's Corriedale Sunken Treasure. And if you didn't see my little story from 2 weeks ago, I really enjoy this colorway because it reminds me of going to the Naval Academy and harassing middies. So, got a little bit done. But I'm so proud of myself because I used my brain and now I know how to do something new. And that's my challenge, is to always continue to learn something new. And is it March? Yeah, March. Retro Lemon, Jenna, for March and April, she's doing a challenge for crochet. And I'm actually taking a Craftsy crochet class with Vicki Howell. It's absurd right now. She's going way too fast for me. So I'm kind of annoyed with it, but I also feel like I need to buy some bigger crochet hooks. I do have like one crochet hook, and it doesn't really grab the yarn well enough. And then I have a bigger, fatter one, but it's plastic, and it's my friend Michelle's. And I really need to give it back to her. I haven't seen her in like 3 years. But she just lives across the Ohio River from me. I mean, this is how I am. I just don't have time to connect with other people because other people are already in bed when I am finally ready to make haste with my day. So, anyway, I learned how to spindle. Go me. I'm very proud of myself. That is my victory. So, what else? Okay. I'm just going to show you real quick something I acquired, because I don't remember if I showed it the other week or not. This is a box bag done by a crafter named Heidi Monkey. It's called Heidi Monkey on Etsy. Heidi, like Heidi in the Alps with her grandfather. That kind of Heidi, and then Monkey, like monkey. Monkey! Haven't you always wanted a monkey? But it's got all really cool Firefly quotes on it. Ha ha ha! Mine is an evil laugh. Now die. Let's see. It's just got some local color happening. Grand entrance, not go miss. And then hearts, Captain Tight Pants. So it's really cute, and I think it was like $20. So what is in here? I don't remember. Oh, Lawrence Lace's Downton Abbey yarn. I think all of us have different special feelings about this yarn, right? Right. So I got that, and I got something else. You've seen this bag before. My Stitches by Just Lou bag. That's not new. So I'll put that to the side so I can grab this other bag. Y'all know I have an addiction to Girl Cave bags, and Susan, a genius, or is she evil for knowing what fabrics I will definitely be drawn to, such as the narwhal. My bag's already covered in cat hair. That's how it goes. It's like, I need this. I need this. So that's what I got. Okay. Alright, so I talked about the 2 bags I got, and I talked about my spinning, and I'm gonna talk about what's on my needles, and I'm gonna grab this big girl real quick. I have been working on my Ho Aloha, and I'm actually kind of stuck right now. I'm at the part for the button tab where you put the extra stitches kind of hanging out and then you knit around one more time, and now I'm not sure which direction I'm supposed to knit in. So if you watch this and you know what I'm talking about, am I supposed to just go backwards or forwards? I'm really confused. And you can't ask on the Ravelry forum. Melski Knits has asked people to please not ask questions there about it. But also, it seems like asking on the blog, questions don't get answered real fast. But anyway, I wanted to show you. I have not been to an actual local yarn store in, I guess, a year. And that yarn store used to be my favorite yarn store, and then the owner sold it to somebody else. And while it's still a nice store, it doesn't have the same feeling that I used to have. Like Katie says, it's nice to be able to walk into your LYS and everybody goes, Norm, or everybody knows who you are. Now when I go in there, nobody has any idea who I am, or anything like that. And it's kind of, I don't know, kind of sad, kind of depressing. But I had to go to the hospital the other week, and excuse me. And on our way back from that, I stopped into another local yarn store. It's kind of new to the area. Sorry, I'm gonna get a sip real quick. And they actually don't have any yarn by indie dyers. So, talking about growth, I may have another meeting there. But I did wind up buying something. Oh, sorry. I don't know if you all have seen these. They're made by Clover, and these are stitch holders. These are like a million times better than that metal like baby diaper clip. It's just rubbery wire, and then this is the needle that you go through, and then there's a little hole. You just poke it through the hole. So that's like awesome. And I got 2 because I had to separate 2 sleeves. That's not looking too bad today. Not as depressing green, but it kind of is. So anyway, here's my Ho Aloha. And I'm at the button tab. People doing the button tab, PM me. Tell me what I should be doing. So that's that. Oh, now to shove it back into my bag. Back into my bag. Have I shown you this bag before? I don't know. I really like it. It is the Gasly's fabric with the Gasly's ladies knitting. And then inside, look y'all, some of you should be doing this. Not enough of you are. Alright, this is just a little snap tab. And you can run your yarn up through it while you're knitting. It simplifies things for me. I think more people should put them inside of their bags that they make. It's only like a little tiny piece of fabric. Come on, get with it. Here I am harassing bag makers because I buy bags. So that's that. That's my ho aloha. I'm kind of paused. So, I'm also working on, I've picked up some undyed yarn in a new yarn base. Two new yarn bases, actually. They're both single ply, but one has a high twist and one does not. And yes, I'm making a daybreak because I've never actually made a daybreak before. But okay, so yes, I'm terrified that these needles are gonna clink and clink. So I apologize in advance if they do. Well, there they go. Wait, I'll lay down the dishcloth and see if that helps. Okay. Let's see. So the green is like a zombie plague kind of green. And that is in the high twist. And then the pink is just a fleshy bits, a solid pink. And I have to say that I am a big fan of single ply yarns to begin with. I know a lot of people aren't. But for those who are, I would compare this to I won't say the name of the company. I'll just say that if you ever order anything from this company, you get that nice big whiff of vinegar every time you open the bag. They make delightful colors, but man, they know how to stink up a yarn. I guarantee my yarn will never, ever, ever smell like that. No. So, knitting a daybreak, and I like both of the yarns. The high twist is definitely a bit thinner, but these are both superwash, so they should not pill, but there's definitely a halo in the one that does not have a high twist. The one with the high twist kind of seems to be, oops, a little less fuzzy wuzzy. So I'm knitting with this just to get a feel for the yarn and to see if I liked it, and I do. So I will be purchasing it in a large quantity coming soon. So that's some yarn news. And then I'm also, for Nerd Wars, knitting Turtle Turtle. If you have not seen the pattern on Ravelry yet, it is a turtle pattern by Susan Claudino. And I forget what amount it is that she's donating from her sales to go towards the Histiocytosis Association, but she's donating money for the sales from her design. And This is just my turtle bottom. I'm knitting up so far. And this is yarn that I hand dyed. I'm doing this on, yeah, worsted weight, my chop tank. So I've got that going on. Okay, only 33 minutes. That's not bad. Oh, okay. Some of you may have seen my notices on Facebook or Plurk or Twitter or on some of the Ravelry boards, but Stockinette Zombies is doing a knit along, crochet along in anticipation of their June retreat. So people are knitting different zombie themed color ways together to make shawls. So what I have done is dyed two colorways that I think look great together. And, well, I wouldn't even say they're colorways. They're semi-solid tonals. Here we have Fleshy Bits, and this is Ultravirus. It's a kind of a mossy dark green, but it looks great next to the pink. So what I am doing is, and I only have a couple left now because people have been buying them before I talked about it on here. I am selling these together as a pair. If you look on Etsy, I call it the Stockinette Zombies Duo. And because you're buying both of them together, you get $5 off. So instead of paying 40 bucks plus shipping, you're paying 35 bucks plus shipping. So if you were still kind of wondering, oh, what should I knit? What colorway should I do? I thought it out for you. You pick the shawl, maybe a daybreak. This is in my Arundel yarn base. It's light fingering. It's 490 yards. You will be able to make a very nice size shawl with this. And it blocks very nice. So, voila. Think about it. Consider it. Alright. So I did that. And then I did something the other day that I really wasn't exactly planning on doing, but because we are we just had to pay to get 4 brand new tires put on our only car and have the brakes fixed. And so a pattern that I was waiting to put out until later, I put up on Friday. You may have seen it. It is a cowl. It has been test knitted by 3 wonderful people, and it is called the Crua Crushuk. And it's an old Irish word, and it basically means that you are tough and a survivor. And the ook at the end is a feminine sound. Just like in Spanish, if something ends with an A, that's a feminine word. If it ends in an O, that's a masculine word. That's the same for all the Romantic languages, the A and the O. So, because it's Women's History Month and because Fat Fibers March theme was Celtic culture, that's why I came up with the name. And also, it's knitted with my chop tank yarn, my worsted weight yarn, so it is a survivor. It is going to stick and hold things up. Oh man, my nose is stuffed up. I'm out of Kleenex, so ignore me as I push my nose to the side for a second. So if you watch this podcast and you are interested in the cowl pattern, PM me. When you PM me, I will give you a special code and you will be able to download it for free. All you have to do is send me a PM. Everybody is going to get a different code, and then you download it. That's it. You get one shot. And then even if you don't buy my yarn, at least make something cool with the pattern and show it off. It's a pretty easy and simple pattern. So it's kind of a mindless knit, kind of fun, kind of a thrill to do. Okay, so yeah. I have plans to design something else for April. Actually, anybody who gets a Fat Fiber box in March has a very high chance of getting my pattern in their box because I made 150 to give out. I'm sorry, I need another drink. And yes, I know Coke is terrible for my throat, but my water's over there and I can't reach it. And I don't feel like getting up. So, where was I? Okay, so yeah, the thing that I have planned for April is for the Fat Fiber box for April, the theme is Secret Garden. And so I have an idea of what I want to design, and I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be cute. And so I just kind of need to experiment and write it up, and we'll see how it goes. Okay. What else? I did dye some yarn today. Did 2 skeins based on the artwork for Coheed and Cambria's The Afterman. I had been thinking about doing it for a long time and then I kept forgetting to do it. But today I kind of messed around a little bit, tried some things out, and I came up with 2 skeins that I think are interesting. And then I did 3 other skeins in what I would describe as nebula. It is a very sci-fi looking bunch of skeins over there. And actually, one of those skeins will be what I donate as the giveaway for Sock Bunny Knit and Fit podcast's Sci-Fi Knit Along random drawing. Excuse me. Okay. And then the other ones that I dyed up, they are, the colorway is called My Little Brony. They're all still drying, so I'm not going to show them right now. But they might be in the shop tomorrow. I really do kind of like to wait for them to dry completely before I scan them up and photograph them. And I don't want to send out wet yarn. Do you know somebody actually sends out wet yarn to people? That is insane. That is crazy. Don't do that. Just tell them, I'm sorry, it's going to be another day. And go buy yourself a heater to heat your room up some more. Okay. Now, what else am I going to talk about? Well, where have I been? I mentioned it in the past, but then I think I was kind of hush-hush and away about where I was going exactly and what was going on. Um, for Christmas, my oldest son bought me tickets to Coheed and Cambria at a show in Atlanta. So the show was on Tuesday, and we spent all of Tuesday riding a megabus from Cincinnati down to Atlanta, and that was interesting. Um, uh, Megabus likes to boast that they have Wi-Fi and power outlets and things like that, but basically when you're going through Appalachia, you're not going to be getting Wi-Fi. If you stop in Knoxville, if you stop in Chattanooga, you'll get some Wi-Fi, but otherwise, don't count on it. Just carry on. Uh, that's your time to knit. Save everything as a PDF that you can just turn on later. Do not rely on Dropbox. Um, so this was one of the first times that my son has kind of traveled in a mode that was not a plane or a car driven by his parents. Um, and so we met a lot of interesting characters. And, oh, where do I start? Where do I even start? Look, Atlanta, you have a serious, serious homeless problem. Serious. Um, I was really shocked when I got off the bus and the first um, poster I saw at the MARTA station was telling beggars not to beg. Do you think all homeless people can read? Do you think they actually know what that sign says? Um, do you? Uh, that's just. I don't see the purpose in that. And so my son and I walked from the MARTA station, and we were going from the convention center. Is that what it is? Convention Center MARTA, but we weren't taking the MARTA. Um, Down to Peachtree Center MARTA. So I have a friend who works at CNN, and he was like, "Look, you're getting into town at 6:30. There, and then you're gonna have to wait another 15 minutes for a MARTA train to come by to even pick you up to get you 6 blocks. You'll be better off walking." So I took his advice. And we walked those 6 blocks. And thanks to Google Maps or Apple Maps or whatever the hell Maps is on my iPhone, um, we got lost walking. Um, because I'm looking at the map, but there's no compass to tell me if I am facing north, south, west, and at 6:45 in the evening last week, there was no daylight savings time, so it was cloudy, the sun had gone down, and I could not figure out which way we were supposed to go. And then I saw a group of tourists, and I thought, well, we'll just follow the tourists. Terrible idea. I got a lot of hill walking done. Let's just say that. And you might think, Atlanta doesn't have hills, but then don't forget that just east of Atlanta is Stone Mountain. Atlanta has hills. Um, so after sitting for 9 hours, we had a very long, interesting walk. And we walked right through um, the heart of downtown, where those big posters telling homeless people not to beg were not up anywhere. Instead, on street posts, they have metal signs that say that begging's not prohibited and that you're not allowed to make eye contact with people. You're not allowed to yell to somebody to get their attention. It was like a misdemeanor or something for doing that. And they only had those signs hanging up in the very touristy areas. Um, as you went further out, you did not see the signs anymore. Um, so I'm still like, I don't know. When someone like me who grew up outside of Baltimore, DC, went to Boston many times, went to Chicago many times, San Francisco, have been to many cities, and I've never really had problems with homeless people approaching me and asking me for money. A lot of times I would just say, no, I'm sorry. Or when I was smoking, I would say, I don't really have any money, but I can give you a cigarette. And they were happy with a cigarette. Um, but because of the way that they are trying to keep tourists from seeing what the problems are in their city, they are actually making things a lot worse, in my opinion. Um, and I'm still just completely stunned by that. Um, and I forgot to mention, I was in Atlanta for all of 5 minutes. 5 minutes before I had somebody yelling at me out of a car window. I swear on my firstborn son, and he was my witness. um, so we're walking from the MARTA station to the other MARTA station to get to the hotel. And I'm at a crosswalk, and the little. Sorry, that's my cat. He is needy. He won't be coming in the room. But anyway, hey, the little walking man's going. I'm going. um, because that's when you can go. And I started going, and a lady who was turning right when I was still crossing, she got a little annoyed because I took a few moments up of her time. And instead of her just getting on with her day and making her right turn and going to wherever she needed to, she rolled down her window and she just let out a flurry of F-bombs and bitches and um, a lot of other things. And I turned around and I said, I hope you have a lovely afternoon. Which is ridiculous because it was 6:30 at night. Um, but, I mean, I had places to go, didn't she? I mean, that's why she's mad. She's got somewhere to be. Or was she upset because I took what she assumed was a power away from her? She assumed that she would be able to make a right turn when the light was green and red. But that's not how it works. Pedestrians have the right of way. At least in the state of Maryland, pedestrians have the right of way. And so, as soon as I see that light for the walking man come up, I walk. Because I don't mind getting hit by a car. I'll see your butt off. I am not hard to miss. Um, Plus, we were carrying 2 suitcases. So I told her, I hope you have a wonderful afternoon. And I did do my Willy Wonka twirl with my hand. And she yelled a racial slur at me. And I couldn't believe it. I continued walking, but I was laughing because nobody has ever called me a racial slur before. Not to my face, not behind my back that I know about. And it just, it was so surreal and ridiculous. I was like, did I really just hear that? Did she really just say that? my son, my son was very concerned that the lady was going to get out of her car and come hit me or whatever. But I was like, we've got places to go and just keep walking. Don't worry about it. So Atlanta, I know it's not you. It was her. She had a misperception that she was going to be able to do whatever she wanted to because she was in a car, and that was false. I won. But anyway, getting back to the homeless people. There's homeless people everywhere in the United States. And Atlanta, these laws that you've passed are not helping your people at all. Um, when we went to the concert, our hotel was a block and a half away from the Tabernacle, which is where the concert was held. And as we were getting closer to going inside, we started to become surrounded by homeless people with just cups of change, shaking cups of change. Um, Usually, that's not something that I find annoying or anything, but these people were really clustering around um, and getting into personal space and stuff. It was more aggressive than I'm used to. The concert was excellent. Concert was excellent. I had such a great time. Such a great time. My son got to see his favorite band, and they're very different from Coheed and Cambria. Um, they scream a lot more of their songs than sing them. So that was interesting. Um, but after the concert was over, we thought, okay, we'll hang around and see if they come out the back by the tour buses and maybe they'll sign a shirt or something. And so last week on Tuesday night in Atlanta, it was very cold and windy. It was like wind coming off of Lake Michigan, cold and windy. We were getting knocked around by the wind, literally. Um, so it was a very cold night. And here we are, mainly a group of white people standing around waiting for our band to come out so that we can meet with them. Um, and at the same time, those homeless people that had been at the on the sidewalk before the concert started had now figured out to come around to the back. Pardon me. And hit people up. And they were there were so many of them, and they were hitting so many people up at the same time that they couldn't even remember who they had already talked to and asked. And you'd have to remind them, you already asked me. And I said, no, I'm sorry. Um, and so my son, um, he's a really good kid. Um, he's unbelievably polite. And um, it is ingrained in him that when an adult is speaking to him, he needs to turn around and look at them and make eye contact with them. And so when these homeless people kept asking for money and things like that, my son continued to, instead of just kind of be like, no, I'm sorry, and not really look at them, my son would look them right in the eyes and say, no, I'm sorry, man. And so that's how we wound up talking to a homeless guy for 30 minutes while waiting for Coheed and Cambria to come out to the tour bus. Um, so this guy was a guy who had spent 20 years in federal prison for armed robbery, and he he was dressed warmly for the night. He had on two coats and a hat. He was warm. He was a lot warmer than me. I was wearing a t-shirt and a hoodie. I was completely unprepared for Atlanta's weather. If I had known, I would have just worn Cincinnati clothes. Um, but he continued to tell the story, and I said, there have to be more resources out there for you that you're just unaware of, and you need to go speak to your parole officer to find out what they are. And he started to kind of make excuses. And that's one of the disheartening things is when they say, well, I went to the Salvation Army, but they only gave me 30 days. Um, and look, I am a big-hearted liberal. I want everybody to get their fair shot. But I know that when you go to these places, they're trying to help you. And as long as you follow the rules, you will get to the next level. You will get to the next step. And it was really obvious that this guy didn't want to play by the rules that have been set out for him now. And I also noticed that he was in the middle. We were in the middle of a group, and he was in the middle with us. But then over on the right was a friend of his who was talking to somebody, and over on the left was another friend who was talking to somebody. So you've got all these homeless people talking to all these people who just spent all their money on t-shirts and albums and comic books, and they don't have spare cash. Um, I was the oldest person standing around. Everybody else was a bunch of college kids and people who are just starting their way in lives. They're not going to have much more money than the homeless people have in the first place. And so I was getting concerned because my son kept wanting to look at my iPhone, and I was not pulling out my iPhone for anything. Um, there was that was information that homeless people did not need to have, and I could see that they were getting ready to set up a 3-to-1 hustle. 3-to-1 hustle is when you do have three people that look like they're separate, but they're actually one. Um, so, anyway, we waited 2 hours for the band to come out, and then it became obvious that the band was not coming out, and we had been there for 2 hours, and we were cold, and we were tired from the trip. We were tired from walking uphill in Atlanta and being lost. We were tired from, dancing and rocking out to the music, and then we were tired from standing in the cold for 2 hours. It was time to just go back to the hotel, give up for the night, go to sleep. But when you can see a 3-to-1 hustle coming on, you really have to time how you're going to leave that situation. So what a 3-to-1 hustle is that you think that there are three separate people that are not going to be asking you for something. But if they can get you or you and somebody else off to themselves, somewhere away from the group, then they have a great chance to mug you, hold you up, um, that kind of thing. Now, maybe they weren't going to do that. Maybe. But I grew up between Baltimore and DC, and I know how things go. And so I've got my city on. Unfortunately for my child, he has grown up in Ohio suburbs and had no idea um, what was about to be going on. Um, but basically, if they can get you away, they will take whatever you've got on you. And I did not want that to happen. So, what we needed was a distraction. Because this man, my son, told that man his name, told that man I was his mother. That man tried to say that I looked like I was 28 years old. You know, he was really trying hard for some cash. Um, and so, luckily, the stagecraft van started to move back. And as that happened, um, the crowd kind of moved around. And that's when I was like, Jake, we gotta go. We gotta go right now. And we started walking as fast as possible. And the homeless guy's yelling, Margene! Because that's what I told him my name was. You don't need to tell a stranger what your name is, even if they're asking you. Unless it's a stranger like Donald Trump or Steve Martin and you're pretty sure they're going to give you money. You don't have to tell a homeless person your name. It doesn't matter. So he's yelling, Margene! And my son keeps turning around. I was like, don't look back. We only have to go a block and a half and get inside the hotel. And the hotel has a key to even get through the front door. As soon as we were in, the episode was going to be over. And as he was yelling Margene, the other two guys were coming in behind him. So it's a little depressing. Atlanta, you need to take care of your people. You need to help them out. The way that you're going about it right now is not working. You can't segregate homeless people from tourists and think that it's all going to be fine and dandy. It's not. That's not how it works. I'm sure those people are living in the woods that are very close to where the concert venue was, and they just need help. There needs to be more help for them. Um, and I, help them with their ingenuity. Help them spark ideas of their own for how to make money for themselves. You know, in Baltimore, kids would come up to you and instead of trying to beg for money, they would have a hustle. Kids with drumsticks and a bucket. Hey, you're playing something, you're entertaining me. I'm gonna give you money. Or I've had kids come up to me and say, I'll give you a wrap for $1. Okay, give me a wrap. Her name is Kelly and she's so fine. I want to do a 69. Well, okay. Here's your $1 and we're gonna move on. Thanks. There's your $1. And then another thing is where in Baltimore, if you go to Fells Point, there are men who will walk you from your car to whatever bar you're going to. And then when you come out of the bar, if they see you, they'll walk you back to your car. And let's not say that it's robbery exactly, but at least you know that when you give him $5 or $6 for walking you to the bar and then walking you back, nobody else is going to be robbing you. So it's easier to just pay that guy the $5 or $6 to let him walk you. He's doing a service there. These people in Atlanta, they don't have that ingenuity. So Atlanta people, help your people. And yes, I know that Cincinnati has its own problems with the way that they treat homeless people as well. they are not allowed to beg downtown. Um, but they are allowed to sell newspapers that they create. Um, so they are allowed to make money by selling something. Atlanta, it doesn't look like your homeless people have that kind of thing going on. Um, help them out, please. Please. So, um, all right, and this is already running over an hour. I don't want to go too long, but Atlanta, help your people. Um, that was like the most disheartening part of the trip. Um, and then there was the vet who rode on the bus with us from Atlanta to Knoxville, who was definitely mentally ill. Whew, whew. Um, so that was another experience, but I'll talk about that another time. I should be podcasting next Tuesday, and I hope you all have a great week, and that you don't have to frog anything, and you don't have to throw a pattern across the room because you can't read it and you don't understand it. Um, so, have a great week, and build my yarn, buy my pattern. For real. 4 tires and brakes. Was not prepared for that. But anyway, have a wonderful week, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye.